got a lot to talk about today, so get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe, and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Yeah, to start with, let's talk about the mystery drones. Here is what Jake Barber had to say about the mystery drones when interviewed by Jesse Michaels.
Okay, but do you think any of these were genuine non-human intelligence? Any of these drones? You mentioned the Chinese nationals. Okay.
I do.
And so why do you think that?
Because of the way they transitioned in and transitioned out, because of indications we got within our observation operations, the way we observe and collect data. That would be my guess. Is I do think that there was an NHI component to this combined, which is what makes it really confusing. You know, the biggest mystery of this whole thing is the mystery. Like, there shouldn't be a mystery. This is a very simple thing. There's something in the sky. Go figure out what it is. Find out who's flying it. It's over. Day one.
Right.
This can.
Yeah, good question. Yeah, the mystery drones are mysterious because they're mysterious. News at 11. But yeah, there you go. Jake Barber saying that, yes, he does see an NHI component to the mystery drones. Also saying that some of the drones are not anomalous or unknown, but that indeed some of them are. Very, very interesting. And of course, they still seem to be around, at least as of January. 8 Wyoming sheriffs seeing mystery drones still have no answers. That's right. At least 8 Wyoming sheriffs have received reports of mysterious drone activity in recent weeks. 3 of those have documented mystery drone sightings over energy infrastructure, like power plants and oil and gas fields, the sheriff told Cowboy State Daily on Wednesday. Yeah, and this is from cowboystatedaily.com. I never thought I'd share a story from Cowboy State Daily. Love it. I'm a Texan, but this is from Wyoming. But yeah, there's a lot of information in here. I highly recommend reading the whole article. We've had 2 accounts of very large drones. When I say very large, we're talking like the size of a Volkswagen vehicle, and several smaller drones flying in a grid pattern, still with this grid pattern stuff, around that singular drone. So you have one central drone and then other drones performing a grid pattern around it. And we've seen this reported time and time again, this grid pattern. What is up with that? That is so weird. We haven't been able to determine the origin or where these drones are going once they leave. Law enforcement agents have confirmed the sightings, Lair added. Many are over the Mesa, reminds me of Skinwalker Ranch, a stretch of oil and gas infrastructure. Lair's office has reached out to every single industry operating in the area. His office has deployed search teams at night and obtained video footage, which has been forwarding to the Wyoming Office of Homeland Security's new tip site. Yeah, so really interesting. You know, we've seen them flying over military bases and airports. Now we know they're also flying over our energy infrastructure. It's not super reassuring. I mean, I guess they haven't blown them up yet. That's kind of reassuring. They've had months or years and they haven't blown them up. But still, something to take note of, guys. That is a little bit alarming. I'm not going to lie. But I am reassured that they haven't blown us up yet. So that's something. Now, this is an interesting exchange, believe it or not, between Stephen Greenstreet and Susan Go. I can never get her name right. This is shared by Merrick von Rennenkamp. Watching the Pentagon dodge and twist itself into pretzels about UAP whistleblower Jake Barber's allegations is quite remarkable. Bottom line, if the Pentagon, which has long denied the underlying allegations, could determine Barber's credibility, it would have done so. Below is the entire exchange Stephen Greenstreet had with Susan Go. Stephen, and yeah, I know I'm repeating Stephen Greenstreet, but hey, this is the crazy world we live in, because he actually got some interesting information, or an interesting exchange anyway. Stephen Greenstreet said, "You said AARO is aware of the claims. When did AARO become aware of the claims? Pre or post Kirkpatrick? And of course, the claims are about Jake Barber. 5 days and no response. Stephen Greenstreet messages her again, following up on this important distinction since Kirkpatrick denies ever hearing about these claims while head of AARO. Now, of course, we know that he had lost Jake's files and said they were uninteresting to Jake, apparently. Meanwhile, privately, the lovely Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick was thinking something else. Susan Goff finally replied. She said the full extent of the claims was not known until after Dr. Kirkpatrick departed. Interesting. Stephen Greenstreet, thank you. That statement seems to infer that the claims in some form were presented before he departed. Susan Goff, Stephen, I can't talk at the moment. Of course not. But perhaps we can chat later. And then, of course, Stephen has to get an egg joke in there. Yeah, really interesting that now that Sean Kirkpatrick is gone, that things might be loosening up over AARO. I'm not really optimistic about Kozlowski. I mean, he has said point blank that AARO has seen no signs of exotic or advanced technology. He has also, before Congress, tried to debunk the Go Fast video, talking about the parallax effect, which has no relevance on the Go Fast video. Yeah, it's famous for being fast, but that's not really the anomalous part of that object. The anomalous part of that object isn't how fast it's going, because the parallax argument is compelling. The anomalous nature of that object is one of the 5 observables, no visible means of propulsion. That thing was moving against the wind with no visible means of propulsion. It's an anomalous object. It's a UFO or UAP. But that's not what Kozlowski talked about when he got up in front of Congress. He talked about the parallax effect, clearly trying to debunk the Go Fast video with a bogus claim that has nothing to do with the anomalous nature of the object. So, or not the main point anyway, right? So, yeah, I have no faith in Kozlowski. Maybe he's going to be better than Kirkpatrick, maybe not. But it does sound like things may be loosening up over there, and maybe they're taking Jake's story more seriously. We'll see if Kozlowski actually goes to one of these CE5 events, and if he does, what he has to say about it. Now, what is this range that Jake Barber is talking about, where they are collecting these UFOs and other items, other downed craft? Well, Science Bob McGuire is saying, my guess, given Jesse's interview about the range, most commonly refers to R2508 complex, which is located near China Lake in California. This area is extensively used for aerospace testing, including government and secure operations, due to its isolated location and controlled aerospace. I have no clue, but that's an interesting speculation from Science Bob. Now, one of the most interesting things that came up during the interview was this idea of summoning UFOs, not simply with psionics or human assets doing CE5, but also using machines.
There's machine-based summoning systems and there's man-based summoning systems. Machine-based summoning systems are, without going into details, are signals and energy systems that can be turned on or activated that summon UAP activity, or that UAP are attracted to.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Machines using energy and signals that can summon UAP. Is this reverse engineered alien technology? Is this something that we've been able to manufacture and it's gotten reliable results? What is this machinery that can summon a UFO? I've got to know about this. Now, in the C5 protocols that Stephen Greer puts out, there are certain sounds and stuff that are supposed to attract UFOs. I wonder if that's kind of what he's talking about with these signals. But it sounds like there's probably something more involved in there, right? So what is that? If you guys have any clue what technology he could be referring to, let me know. Have you seen anything similar to that in any other stories? I'd love to find out. Meanwhile, a major in the Brazilian army has said that the beings in the Virginia incident were hybrids. Okay, let's take a look at this information. This comes from Ronnie Vernet, who's a reporter that touches on UFO stuff and actually went down to the Amazon to record the flap that was going on in Brazil, 6 months ago or so. I've been waiting to see his, documentary or whatever he's going to come out with about that reporting, about that investigation. Because when he went down there to those villages in the Amazon to see the UFOs that the villagers were seeing and reporting on, he saw them. And he also got poltergeist activity as well, which isn't surprising to me because they often go together. But I've been really looking forward to more of his report on that, but I haven't seen much of it. Anyway, but let's get into his reporting on this major. Journalist Margarita Hallecock, who covered the Virginia incident, revealed for the first time what her best friend, a major in the Brazilian army who served in 1996 at the military base where the beings were taken, said. Colonel, it wasn't an ET. Maybe some hybrid creatures created by the ETs in their mega laboratories. Hallecock, from human and animal materials collected on Earth, that's what they were created by, according to this information. Yes, the colonel says. Well, it says colonel here. Their technology is light years ahead of ours. Yeah, it says colonel there, and it says major there. So a little discrepancy. Of course, I asked, where was the colonel getting his information? And I have not received an answer. That's kind of an important question to get answered. Is this the colonel's speculation? Did he learn this from information shared with the control group or from a being? Where does that information come from? The colonel goes on, and I'm going to use colonel since Ronnie does. To be among us, they send their messengers. Those strange little creatures that embarrass ufologists and certain journalists. They produce hybrid creatures in a series, like on an assembly line. Sometimes an abduction to extract more genetic material from people, which of course does correspond to a lot of the lore and the information, not just lore, but information that we have on the Greys, is that they are created beings, they do seem, they extract genetic material from humans and then they create beings. Some of them look like gray aliens. Some of them look more human. Some of them are in the middle. He seems to be suggesting that the Virginia beings were also hybrids and that they may have been created through this abduction process of extracting genetic material and creating these beings. And he says that's for use as messengers. I thought that was really intriguing. I mean, they've probably been creating hybrids for thousands, if not many, many more years than that. But yeah, at least since the Nazca period, there is human DNA in some of those specimens, likely, acquired through abductions. They were abducting people back then and creating hybrids just like they are now, thousands of years ago. And so, yeah, I think they've probably been doing that all along, maybe for tens of thousands of years, maybe hundreds. Maybe they've had a hand in the evolution of life on Earth. They certainly seem interested in genetics and DNA. Deep Prasad and his download that he received from the beings, and Deep Prasad is the quantum computer guru who had a very interesting abduction experience, or at least a contact experience, where a UFO superimposed over him, and he received this download where all he was seeing was like hieroglyphics and stuff. And the only understandable thing that he was seeing in all those hieroglyphics were the words in big bold letters, DNA. Yeah, so the beings are interested in DNA and genetics. But are they creating hybrids as messengers? Because they've had a lot of time to do that. And, we're not seeing a lot of messaging activity going on, at least in the public sphere. So I question that information. I'm very curious about where the colonel or major is getting that information, but it's definitely a juicy story, a very, very interesting story. And if there is more information to be found on that, I'll definitely be reporting on it. But let me know what you guys think about it at all or that in the comments below. Meanwhile, check out this cool UFO sighting from Dover, Delaware.
Look at it. Look at the colors it's changing. Come on, keep going, keep going. Look at it. Baby, it's doing this for us. This is what it did on the 17th, guys. Yeah. That video pinned at the top of my page, this thing did all those things I said it did. Look at it, baby. Look how different it looks. Look.
Shut the fuck up.
I love the reaction to this, and I love how that object is going behind the trees. You know, harder to CGI an object that goes behind trees like that. Very compelling video. You know, is that a big saucer-shaped UFO? Is that a cigar shape? What is that thing? Is that a series of objects in a line? To me, it looks more like one big object in the sky. Could that be explained by conventional means? Is that a plane? I can see a little blinking light on it. But if it were a plane, I think we'd hear the plane noise in that video, and you're not hearing any plane noise.
Sound at all coming from it.
Yeah, as he points out right there.
There's no sound at all coming from it.
That was good timing.
That's not even what
Look how close it is to us. Here, hold on. I wonder if I can get it, babe. Here, hold on. Take my picture.
Okay, it's not there. Anyway, all right, they're getting selfies in front of the UFO. Love it. Love it. Oh, my God. Oh, that's badass. That's badass. Rock on, man. But yeah, I think that's a really compelling video of a UFO that is very likely a very large UFO that may have been appearing just for them. He seemed to think it was a display meant just for them, but it's obviously allowing them to get it on camera, which is significant because these things don't have to appear on camera if they don't want to. They seem to be able to interact with technology and mask themselves from cameras and distort what they look like on cameras. So, you know, when these things appear on camera, you have to wonder if they wanted to be on camera. So let me know what you think is going on with this UFO. Last but not least, have you ever heard of a desert with more water than sand? Okay, a desert with more water than sand. I'll bet. Okay, let's check it out. It's a hell of a desert. Okay. I don't think my knees could do that. Looks like fun. All right, more water than sand. Whoa, look at that. Look at that crazy desert. Watery desert. That was nuts, guys. Let me know what you think about these guys taking dives into this watery desert. And let me know what you think about this watery desert and everything else covered today in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, thumbs up, like and subscribe, grab a t-shirt, become a channel member. There's plenty of other videos on the channel. And I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Rude signing out.